Hello, and welcome back to another episode of White Album 2's Fan Club Radio. We are currently reading through episode 85, and this is part 2. We're just about to start a new segment. The voice actor of Haruki has joined us as a special guest. So we're looking through scenes from White Album 2 and just kind of discussing his thoughts on it, as well as our two main heroines, the voice actresses of Setsuna and Kazusa. Okay. Let's go to the next one. Right. This is from Holmes-san. The scene I would like you to talk about is the scene with Kazusa and Haruki talking after the festival concert. I think it's an iconic scene where Kazusa's clumsiness and feelings of love for Haruki really come through. I think, why would I hate it? Why would it not be fun? Why would I not be happy? Why do you have to ask? Every time I listen to it, I love Kazusa even more. So awkward, so earnest, and we see tears from her. And when I think about how it leads to Setsuna's confession, playing it again makes my heart hurt. So many times I've thought, if only Kazusa had been able to claim him here. But it also made me realize all the more that Kazusa's clumsiness is exactly what charms people so much. Clumsiness. I don't know if I'd call it clumsiness. She just didn't have the courage to say it to him while he was awake. Which is unfortunate that he wasn't awake, because that would have changed the entire game. That scene. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Well, that scene might seriously be the biggest what-if moment in the whole story. Yeah. And let me think. Thinking about Haruki's own feelings of being attracted to Kazusa, it really was love at first sight. Well, yeah. Kazusa, maybe she understands it just a bit, but for Haruki himself, no matter what attitude Kazusa takes toward him, it doesn't get him down, because he likes himself just fine. So it certainly wouldn't occur to him that she thought of him that way. Oh, that's really adorable. You gotta be confident. Yeah. Yeah, and well, it gets discussed later, but as a retrospective, yeah? From spring onward after they meet, yeah? There were these episodes. Right. And thinking through all of those, Kazusa's audience, so to speak, well, the player, from what the player is seeing, it's already plain that Kazusa is smitten with Haruki. You see that? Yeah. But Haruki doesn't even remotely pick up on it. He's so full of himself that he has no room to try to guess what anyone else is thinking. He's just so focused. Right. That was figuring into it. Full of himself. That's an interesting thought. I mean, I guess to a point, because, he's an honor student. He always has to study. He has to be the best. He has to be on track of things. Student council, or the class rep, I should say. But I think it was really just that he was a busybody. And he didn't give himself enough time to think about himself. That's what I think it is, personally. But this is really maybe the best balance in the whole work. Yeah. Yeah. I think, but really I'm going, just avoid her. There it is. There it is. Why isn't there any choice given to avoid her? The avoidance won Grand Prix. There we are. The avoidance won. Oh, I mean, yeah. He could have avoided her. I mean, realistically, not in the game, but all you'd have to just say is, I'm not ready for that right now. And that's all it would take. I do find myself partly thinking that, but this really is an iconic scene in a way. Yeah. Yeah. Although Kazusa doesn't show it that much, how she feels through the way she acts, right? The fact that she was feeling this intensely is something that you gradually come to understand later on. Yeah. And at that point, you look back, and the way you see it will be different. Right. Good point. So really the whole time, from the point of view of the story, Kazusa's attitude right after the opening, that there's something on the flip side of it, yeah? Noticing that, I mean, there's no way the player wouldn't realize it. Right. I mean, it's super, and it always is. In any game or anime, someone's crush is always apparent to the viewer, and they do that on purpose. Because if they didn't, it would just look like it came out of nowhere, and it would be strange. But the fact that she was thinking that intensely about him, yeah, she's just so bad at expressing love. Right. And it can be charming, but from the guy's point of view, he probably wouldn't notice it. Definitely. He wouldn't notice. Which makes it really fortunate that this is a game. Yeah. Since anyone would be able to tell by playing it. Right. But if it were happening in reality, and of course in reality, people can hide their feelings a lot better. Yeah? Once she passed him by, it would be over. That's right. I wouldn't even have been able to revive the light music club. Nothing would ever get through. I don't have that kind of willpower. I would just go, oh, well, looks like she hates me, so that's it. And give up there. It's so true. So many times I was thinking she doesn't want to talk to you. Leave her alone. Stop bothering her. But he just kept going anyway, and then it came to this. Well, I guess there's a message to everyone there then. To people who are feeling troubled over love right now. Yeah? Freaking out, going, what do I do? Should I confess or not? Yeah? Doing that won't put anything across, so you have to say it. Right. That could be the message from Kazusa. That's definitely a message from Kazusa. I mean, Kazusa's an inspiration to tell people how you feel early on just because of what happened to her. I do think you could take something like that. For sure. Let yourself fall in love, everyone. Haruki is really, that means you. Fall in love. Uh-huh. Done. I don't think you two are in any position to tell me that. What was that? Me neither? What was that? You two talking about love? We're being lumped together. I mean, they're also co-hosts, and they've been hosting this show for almost 2 years, so I could see why people lump them together. I've got a romance going on, you know. I mean, I'm playing the game right now. I'm playing it too. But then, on the Vita, then what? When you're playing, whose feelings are you playing through? Setsuna's. Sort of. I'm playing Chiaki's route right now. Yeah. But I'm sort of playing as Kazusa, I think. Yeah. Of course. I get ticked off sometimes. Oh, don't we all, playing through that game. Also, when I'm playing on the train, I'll start crying sometimes and go, oh no, I can't do this anymore, and just turn it off. Ah. Yeah, I can imagine that. Oh no, we've all been there. Maybe not on a train, but we've all been there. I can't do it. Yeah. I just want to play it stealthily at home. I've been playing it stealthily whenever I get a moment. The first time, well, because I know what's going to happen in the story, I can't make myself press the circle button. Oh, you get like that? Knowing what comes next, like, I don't want to see this, just end it here. Because I know something is waiting that'll make me go, no, don't say that. God, all of us trying to play as Haruki. Don't say that. Don't do that. It's a constant battle with White Album too. So, I don't want to press the button. Do you cry too, Daichi-san? I do cry. You do cry. Wow. I cry a ton. I was crying when I was recording too. Wow. Oh yeah, there were tears. Yeah, generally when I'm performing, I actually don't cry that much at all. But this was one of those times. Yeah. I will say, because White Album 2 is such a sad game and it's so focused on the emotional aspects, the crying scenes are really good. They did a really good job with that. Yeah, I mean, with the anime, if you cry too much, It can disrupt things. Yeah. But with the game, you can take a break if you need to cry a little bit. True. Yeah. And take some time to switch to the next emotion. Yeah. With anime, the next scene starts right away. Exactly. So I think, right? I can't do too much of this. Yes. And this is super, super true. I'm someone that cries at everything. So when I'm watching an anime and it's a really hard-hitting emotional scene and I'm crying, the second it switches perspectives to something else, it's so jarring because I'm still trying to process my emotions. I'm still upset. I don't want to look at the next scene yet. But in games, one, it's usually played out a lot slower. And two, I can just stop playing for a bit and then just like calm down. Yeah, right? And keep it under control somehow. Now, with the anime, I did plenty of crying on air. Right? You can cry on air. Right. And when you're at home rehearsing, right? When you have the V, Yone-chan. Okay, so speaking of the anime version, yes? That great scene, with Kazusa and Haruki. Yeah, the airport. Before the airport. Before the airport? Yeah. Outside, when they meet outside the apartment. What did you think while you were watching that? What? It just makes me feel out of the loop. You didn't cry? Well, it made me think, I wonder what Setsuna's up to right now, I guess. Right. Were you not in that day? Oh, so you weren't there at all. I guess I wasn't, since it was before the last one. It wasn't the end yet, so it wasn't one of your days. Yeah, I wasn't, right? Though I was shut in at home going, when are they going to call me? I see. Yeah. So that scene, right? Watching it as part of the audience, it's about the two of them. So I might cry, but that's not the case for Yone-chan. Yeah, probably. There was that scene with the two of them kissing, right? Yeah. When I was there for the dubbing. I got a little annoyed at that scene. Just look at the two of them making out like that. Yeah. While I was doing that, in my mind I was going, I don't know whether this is toward Kazusa or Naba-chan, but I'm sorry. Some of the makeouts in White Album 2, why do they always do it outside? Like in view of everyone? Or making someone wait. It's just so bad. Why would you apologize to Naba-san? Well, I mean, it escalates. It gradually escalates, right? Yeah. I was just going, But a lot goes on after that, too. It does. Right, it does. But you can't show it. Yeah. It's tricky. Right? Thinking about how much he has to seal off his feelings for Kazusa. Yeah? In order to face Setsuna. Yeah. So at this point, he has to pile up those kisses. Right. I mean, yes, not really. It always made me feel really awkward when he was trying to like get deeper into a relationship with Setsuna so he'd forget about his feelings for another girl, because it just feels like he's using her, and that's really weird and not cool. I don't like that. So yeah, when that was happening, I was like, Haruki, like, you can have a crush on somebody else, but you can't like come on to someone expecting them. I don't know. It was just gross. I didn't like that part. If he doesn't, Kazusa will go, why are you so good at this? Right? Yes, he has to be good at it. Yone-chan was kissing as hard as she could. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Hang on, it wasn't me doing it. Yone-chan was... It was Setsuna. Yone-chan was at the mic, kissing. The mic. Naba-san. I was just standing still. Yone-chan was making one-sided smooching noises. Now we're just talking about the work. Yeah. You do it too, though, Naba-san. A question of marketability, right? Yeah. It means there's no need for a man. All right, let's go to the next letter. Right. This is from Ryu, the man who loves Winter-san. Okay. The scene that left an impression on me is when they go to the airport to say goodbye to Kazusa. Setsuna tells a painful lie to her own heart and to Haruki. Haruki finds Kazusa and embraces her, and Setsuna watches in a daze, tears falling. If the two of you were in Kazusa and Setsuna's situations, which action would you take? Would you be able to chase after your dreams, keeping the person you love as a memory, like Kazusa? Would you be able to wait for years and years, still in love with that person, even if it meant betraying yourself, like Setsuna? And Daichu-san, if you were in Haruki's position, what action would you take? There we are. Wow. Wow. Well, first of all, I wouldn't get into a situation like that. Isn't that the thought we all have when playing this game? We're like, we wouldn't do that. We just wouldn't do it. We wouldn't allow ourselves to get that deep. Huh. Right? I guess whether I could leave Setsuna behind and go to Kazusa, yeah, is the question. Yeah. Wow. Because he's not caring about appearances there. Yeah. So however you might weigh it, weigh it out on the scales, yeah, Kazusa's side would be heavier. Yeah, I figure. And this is very true, especially Haruki, who cared so much about appearances. This kind of thing definitely, it shows his true feelings. It's like an impulse. Yeah. But even that impulse hurts Setsuna. Right. Yeah. Because normally Haruki-kun would restrain himself there, you would think, right? And the fact that it was such a powerful impulse that he couldn't hold it back, she can tell. Yes. So she's in shock. Because it means he really likes her. Yeah. Thinking about liking from his end, it was absolutely Kazusa, right? He loves Kazusa. Yeah. And Setsuna really is a good girl. So she should be able to feel happier as she accepts that, right? That's how she's meant to work. Yeah. But Setsuna-chan, in her own way, really, she loves Haruki. So she understands how they feel. What does that do in the first place, understanding it? Setsuna, or rather to you, Yone-chan. Feeling that love, or almost not handing him over exactly, right? But all three of them are aware that they've done wrong at this point. Yeah. Everyone has sinned. Yes. And that awareness makes you stop what you're doing. Stop expressing your feelings. Yeah? And the one who experiences that the most strongly is Setsuna. Right? She is. Yeah. And the one who broke that equilibrium was Haruki. That's true. Setsuna saw what was happening with Kazusa and Haruki. She decided to kind of swoop in and take her chance right then, right there. Not a great thing to have done. But yeah, they were still maintaining that equilibrium of the trio, their friendship, their relationship. Haruki busted that all wide open when he confessed to Kazusa. So, he wasn't able to protect the one person he thought he'd be able to protect the most. Right. In the anime, it's super obvious. Setsuna is between Haruki and Kazusa. That composition. But even though she's there, yeah, Haruki and Kazusa are noticing each other. Yeah. And with that, it's almost as if to say, he's going to leave Setsuna behind. Oof, so emotional. And they move in a way that makes it even easier to see. That turn. The turn. Don't move. So you can see it. Right? I can see where you're connected. That wording. Your wording. It was fine with just the back of your head. But Yone-chan, if it were you, Would you be able to keep liking him? No way. Yes. It boggles my mind how much Setsuna held on to Haruki after all that happened. Heartbreaking. And even if right off she still loved him, that period of years where they weren't talking, you would think she would slightly move on, but she just never did. Right? Yeah. After seeing that impulsive movement, it would be difficult. Yeah. Because there's no winning after that, no matter how hard you try. Yep. That's what you would think. Well, thinking about it from Kazusa's view, yeah? Or thinking realistically, I don't think she would be able to go, this means I win. She wouldn't. Right. There's no way. No, Kazusa's not that type of person. Thinking as Haruki, I don't know. But since she's leaving, he's thinking he might not ever see her again. Yeah. So he rushes over to her without thinking about the consequences, maybe, since he's not remotely thinking about what comes after. Yeah. It's all his emotions, this impulse. Yeah? Making him go to her. Right. I do think it's possible that the self-restraint could have kicked in at the last minute, like, no, enough. I'm going home. I don't want to go. But Setsuna basically dragged him there. Yeah. And you know what? I don't think Haruki would have gone at all, ever. If it was up to him, absolutely he would not have gone. I don't think he would have even gotten to the halfway point. So, I don't know. It definitely was Setsuna's fault that she saw that. I don't know. Really, the collapse of that balance? If Kazusa unlocked that door, it would be Haruki. It would. Yeah. Man, seriously, what would I do? What would you do, Daichi-san? Why did things reach this point anyway? Yeah, seriously, that's all monologue. Yeah. Right? What was Setsuna feeling when she took Haruki to the airport? That's my question now. I wonder. Well, she probably knew. And she took him to the airport for another, I think part of her really wanted to beat Kazusa fair and square. At the beginning, when they started dating, she sort of got impatient and wheedled him into it, right? She was the one who pushed him. Yeah. But here, on this equal ground, one-on-one, right? She wanted him to choose her. That could have been part of it. And this reading is extremely depressing because we all know that did not happen. He did not choose her. She made a bad miscalculation. And also, since the time all three of them spent together had been the most fun for her, since their best friend was about to go overseas, it would be the normal thing to do to go see her off. Right. Setsuna could have wanted to cherish that moment. Man, what would I do? I figured. If I were in Setsuna's position, yeah, I might have had some hope riding on it. That even if we went there, yeah, Haruki-kun wouldn't do that. Yeah. Banking on just that little, percentage. And then he went. And it must have felt like a crushing defeat. Like, hang on, this is completely different from what I expected. What? Like she had no idea the odds were stacked that much against her. That's what I would think if it were me. She might have realized that. Yeah. So she probably felt guilty for holding on to Haruki, for stopping him and keeping him with her. Yeah. She must have wanted to see the truth. Yeah. I get that feeling. So many feelings rolled up into one little package, into one little evening. It's such an emotional part of the game. Right? And it feels like so much is wrapped in all of this to an excessive degree. But maybe, I don't know, it's a matter of drawing the line. Oh, okay. Good point. Man. And there could have also been the question of whether she could keep her feelings for him after that happened. But she loved him so much that even that didn't shake her. Yeah, Setsuna did. That's wild. It was crazy to me that she could keep her feelings for him after having to witness that. Yeah. I feel like part of her wouldn't want to watch Haruki going to pieces like that anymore. I mean, yes, but even if she still had that crush, it's amazing that she continued pursuing it. Even directly after, even at the airport as the plane was taking off, I can't imagine hugging him from behind and saying, oh, I might get the wrong idea. Oh, let's stay together. You know, that kind of stuff. It's just wild to me. But she just stood there, frozen. I would have gone, okay, I need to get him out of here somehow. Get him away from there, yeah. So once Kazusa has left, after her flight is left, when they're outside the airport, right? And she's clinging to his back after watching the plane leave. Well, it's hard to say which one of them is clinging, but how did they leave after that, I wonder? Yeah, seriously. Since it ends there? Yeah. Did Setsuna leave first because he told her to? Or did the two of them, leave together without saying anything? Oh, that awkward ride home. I think they went back together in silence. Probably. Man. Setsuna could have been walking a bit behind him the whole time. Yeah? Yeah. Half a step behind him. Right. Come to think of it, things just stay that way for years. That's how they stay. Right. Yeah. The years just pile up that way. Ugh. Man, that's depressing. This question. Yeah. Didn't really get any answers, huh? We talked and talked, but no real answers. It's a tricky one. All right. Yeah. Yes. Yes. With that, that's all the time we have. Next week, for Volume 2, we'll be reading mail about CC. Also, we're accepting suggestions for scenes and topics from Setsuna and Kazusa's roots in Coda, as well as the infidelity and sworn enemies roots for Daichu-san to discuss. Feel free to shoot all your mail our way. All right, and we will stop there for today. Thank you so much for being here on this episode of the White Album 2 Fan Club Radio, and we'll be back with the next part of this episode shortly. So until then, I hope you take care. See you.